Welcome to OAA Now, your home for Oakland Activities Association news and information. Here's your host, Sammy Taramina.
Welcome to OAA Now. I'm Sammy Taramina, blogger of the Dragon's Den, blogger of Inside the OAA, and one of the hosts of Between Taraminas on Orion Neighborhood Television. I'd like to welcome my friends from Oxford Community Television watching us on our simulcast, and we'll get ready. We got some interesting ones to talk about here on the show here today. Today is the during the week of the MHA dead period. We'll go over what the dead period is. Of course, most of the high school athletes and coaches know that situation there. We'll also go over the there's been 4 OA commits committing to D1 colleges. We'll talk about that and what impact that would be for the entire league and their teams. And also, we're going to talk about some summer league ball. Of course, with the summer league ball going up there, it's going to be very interesting to look at when it comes to summer league. So let's talk about the MHA dead period. What is the MHA dead period? And the basketball regionals, we'll go over that. The MHA dead period, of course, is a week where players and coaches, they're on a break. You know what I mean? They have that during Christmas break. They have one, and then they have one during the summer breaks. Whereas players can't coach kids for a week. Virtually 5 days from like Monday to Friday. I mean, when there's no summer league games, there's nothing. You know what I mean? That's what the MHA dead period is. And it's kind of tough, you know what I mean, especially when you look at that situation there. It's interesting, to say the least. So that's what the MHA dead period is. Last week I talked about basketball districts, of course, involving some teams. Now we're going to go over regionals, which were announced today. You can also catch us on my Inside the OA blog. A lot of interesting things coming out of the regional here. Of course, Region B, Region 13, which is Class B. I look at that. That's the district where Ferndale and Hazel Park are in. They're in District 42 at Warren Fitzgerald. They're going up against the team that is in District 45, and the team in District 45 is, it's a very interesting district. It's a very unique setup, especially here for District 45, which is in Class B. Of course, it's a mostly Detroit area bracket in which, whereas the District 45 team, which is the one up in Labonte Clarenceville, where they're going to deal with teams like Detroit CMA, Detroit Henry Ford, Detroit Old Redford, Labonte Clarenceville, Redford Union, and Southfield Bradford Academy. When that is the opponent the 42 winner would face, and the District 40, and in the other side you're going to have the District 43 winner, which will contest of at the Detroit Osborne District for boys basketball between Centerline, Detroit Denby, Detroit Osborne, Harper Woods Chandler Park Academy, South Lake, and Warren Lincoln. And then that would be taken on the District 41 winner, which is Detroit Advanced Technology, Detroit Cesar Savage, Detroit Consortium, Detroit Frederick Douglass, Detroit Henry Ford Academy, Detroit University Prep, and Detroit Prep of Science and Math. Very interesting names, to say the least. But, when I look at that one here for all 3 teams, you know what I mean? I just think that, when I look at the district, when I look at the regional there, I just think the winner of the district can make a huge run in volleyball. I just think that I think whoever wins District 42 will win that, because even though the regional is at Livonia Ladywood, I just think at the end of the day, whoever wins that district, and I said who would win that district last week, would either be Ferndale or Warren Fitzgerald, and they could make a huge run in the state quarterfinals. I really do think that. In girls basketball, of course, the districts at Livonia Ladywood, I still think that Warren Fitzgerald will probably get out of that district in District 42, or Detroit Mumford. I just think that Detroit Mumford could be in line to make a long playoff run. there. I just think that whoever wins that one's going to win that one as well. So that's very interesting regional when you look at that situation there. And then of course you have the boys basketball. Of course, it's boys basketball. It could be a rematch between if Ferndale were to win District 42 and Detroit Henry Ford to win District 45. And I think the winner of that would play. I think the winner of that if Ferndale played Detroit Henry Ford, I think it would be a heck of a game. It would be a rematch because you look at the situation there, because Ferndale wants to beat Henry Ford so bad, and it's not even funny what happened. And you look at, and then of course you have District 43. I would see a team like Detroit Osborne who come out. The University Prep. So I just think that whoever wins District 42 and District 45 will move on to the state quarterfinals. So last year Detroit Henry Ford, let's not forget, went to the state quarterfinals before bowing out in Class B. And then we'll go to Class A, of course. Got the Region 4. Region 4, of course, that regional is going to be where Southfield Lathrop's at. It's very interesting because, you look at where you look at the Southfield Lathrop district for basketball this Southfield Lathrop, they could make some noise, especially in basketball, because and then you have and then of course volleyball. It's really not much of an impact regional, even though I just think Grosse Pointe South, I think, is going to win this one. They probably would be the favorite because they host, and they also have and also I think they have the best chance in volleyball to go far is Grosse Pointe South, but in boys basketball, it's a whole nother animal because with the regional now at Detroit Cass Tech, you got to think, and you have Detroit Western here, along with Detroit Cass Tech and East English Prep. It's not going to be an easy situation when you look at who wins District 20, because District 20 is taking on District 16, and I think it's going to be a heck of a regional final between whoever wins District 24 and District 20. And if it's Detroit Cass Tech, and just imagine even having to play UD Jesuit or Southfield, that could be an interesting dynamic. You know what I mean? So I just think at the end of the day, whoever wins Districts 20 and 24 in boys basketball will win the crown there. And then District 24, it's going to, at Dearborn Fortson, it's either going to be, I think Southfield Lathrop's the favorite, but everything's setting up for a possible Lathrop versus Detroit Martin Luther King final. I just think Detroit Martin Luther King right now is a better team than Detroit Cass Tech or Grosse Pointe South. Doesn't mean that they can win it. You know what I mean? I think they'll win it. But I just think at the end of the day, Southfield Lathrop will win. I think Southfield Lathrop will win and move on to the state quarterfinals. Too much experience, too much depth in there, and whoever wins that regional. So it's an interesting regional. Got three teams who can win district. You got three teams who could win District 20, which is going to be Adam, Dearborn, Fortson, and it's going to be very interesting, to say the least. Region 5, of course, it's very unique here because you got volleyball and girls basketball at Novi, and boys basketball at West Bloomfield. Of course, West Bloomfield is in this district, District 21, with Farmington Hills, Harrison, North Farmington, but you got Farmington Hills Mercy in there for girls, and then of course you got for the boys side, you got to figure that out. You know what I mean? God, it's late today. I'm not Oregon. You got Orchard Lake St. Mary's, in that dynamic. So when you look at the volleyball side, Novi, of course, went to state finals last year when they lost to Romeo. I still think Canton's going to have a say in that, but I would not surprise me nobody wins District 18. When I said about District 21, of course, that's the district with West Bloomfield in there. It's a wide open district, you know what I mean? But I said Mercy would win that one, but I think it's not an easy district, you know what I mean, when you look at it, because you have North Farmington in there that'll have a say. I think that it would, Mercy's the early favorite. You really cannot, you cannot underestimate West Bloomfield or North Farmington. here in this region, in this region. So I just think District 21 is going to be very interesting. It's going to be a good regional, but I would say early on in this regional, Novi would be favored even over Mercy for volleyball. Girls basketball, it's a whole other story because you got a team like South Lyon East in here. Howe's going to be very good. Lakeland's going to be in here in this regional. Salem Salem last year won the Kensington title. I think they're replacing a lot of talent from a year ago. But I think everyone's District 21 has a great shot. I mean, when I looked at Mercy a couple weeks ago in the Summer League, I didn't think Mercy looked that good. I really didn't. And especially when you have a team like Harrison who's coming, you have a team like North Farmington who's got 4 starters back, and then you have a team like West Bloomfield who's emerging as a power. I just think that Mercy's in some trouble in that district, and I think if Harrison were to win that region, I think it would be a great story for Coach Tim Micklash and his crew. But you cannot count out North Farmington or West Bloomfield coming out. And then you got boys basketball, of course. It's looking like everything's setting up for the final between District 21, whoever wins that district, against the District 18 or 26 champion. Of course, it's very interesting when you look at District 18. You know what I mean? You got Plymouth in there, you got Canton in there, Sam's in there, but I'm gonna go with Plymouth. District 26 is interesting because you got the Walled Lake schools in there, so it could be an interesting regional. You know what I mean? It's gonna be an interesting regional, and the winner will likely have to earn their path to state quarterfinals. So I just think at the end of the day, I just think if it's North Farmington that goes there, I think it would not surprise me if they win it. West Bloomfield is a team that could win this regional. They would like. I know that. And then of course you have Walled Lake Central, who won a regional title last year before bowing out to Saginaw Arthur Hill. I mean, so I just think it's gonna be very interesting when you look at whoever wins Region 5 for boys basketball. So, and then of course you got Region 6, and then you got Region 7. So Region 6, very unique. This is a very unique one because, especially in volleyball, because I just think that with the regional for volleyball, it's at Warren Cousino, and I just think the winner of that, I think Frazier's the early favorite there for District 29. District 25 will probably be Grosse Pointe North, and I just think that District 29, excuse me, District 25, will be very interesting. Who wins that brutal Birmingham district? It's going to be very, very fun. It's going to be tough. Whoever wins that one. And then you have the District 23 winner, which is the Royal Oak district winner, which could be very interesting in that dynamic. I think Troy Athens or Sterling Heights have a good shot at winning that district. So, and then of course, so it'll be very interesting. I think the winner of District 25 will move on, which is in that vaunted Birmingham district, which that's going to be just absolutely scary to look at. It was going to be scary. I'll be honest with you. And the girls basketball course, I mentioned last week, of course, you can check out my updated district version of the blog and the Inside the OA. We'll probably put on the ONTV Local Voice later today, so it'll be interesting there. We'll also put my regional thoughts on there too. You look at in girls basketball, the regional will be at Roseville, of course, deep in Macomb County. So I just think that Warren Cousino or Sterling Heights should win District 23. I mean, because in the stats last year, Sterling Heights has had Warren Cousino's number for the last 2 seasons, and it's not good for Troy Athens and it's not good for Troy Athens and Royal Oak, who's in this district. But I just think the winner of Warren Cousino and Sterling Heights, will win District 23. But, they got to deal with Utica Ford. And Utica Ford's a very good team. And I saw them play in Summer League. And Utica Ford's a very, very good team. I mean, they got a very good shooter. They got their fast team. They like to speed it up. I mean, like, I like this Utica Ford team a lot. And it's also interesting because Utica Ford is not in a district with Romeo nor with Romeo nor Utica Eisenhower or Ford or Utica High, because it's a very interesting dynamic. They sent Utica south, they sent Ford south. I mean, like, not to deal with Utica or Utica Eisenhower or Romeo, and I think it's a huge benefit for some of those. You know what I mean? And I think Ford will benefit a lot. The District 25 winner I like will have a good matchup. They'll have a good matchup with Grosse Pointe North. You know what I mean? Who I think will win District 22. And then, end of the day, I just think the District 23 winner will move on to state quarterfinals. I just think either going to be Warren Cousin or Sterling Heights. You know what I mean? Sterling Heights, of course, won the regional last year. So I just think at the end of the day, I just think that Sterling Heights is better. I just think that Sterling Heights, Warren Cousin, whoever wins that district is going to win and move on to state quarterfinals in girls basketball. And boys basketball is going to be very interesting. It's at Chippewa Valley. I think the District 23 winner will likely probably be Warren De La Salle. Will likely clash with Chippewa Valley. And the District 25 winner, I think we'll have no problem with Grosse Pointe North. And then I just think the 23-25 winner will meet. I just think it's going to be Warren De La Salle likely going up against, I would think, you know what I mean, the best possible team to go up against would probably be Bloomfield Hills. And I think it'll be a regional final there. I just think at the end of the day, I think the winner of District 23 is going to go on the state quarterfinals, which I think would be Warren De La Salle. So it's very interesting there in that matchup there. And then, of course, you got Region 7. Of course, that regional is at Romeo. Of course, Romeo won the state title last year. They'll probably either see Orion or Clarkson on their home court. I like Stony Creek win District 30. They'll probably play Fenton. And then I think the winner of Orion, Clarkson, or Romeo will win that regional and move on. I just think that Stony Creek will be outmatched or Fenton will be outmatched in that one. Boys basketball, which is at Macomb, Dakota. Could it set the stage for Clarkson, Dakota, Tart 2? It's possible. It's going to be a home game for Macomb, Dakota because I think if that happens, I think that's going to be a heck of a matchup there. And also the other game I think would set the stage would be Adams against Holly. Grand Blanc looked good. So, and it could be a possible matchup between Clarkson, Holly, or Macomb, Dakota and Holly. You know what I mean? Or even Adams. Adams could be Holly. You know what I mean? So it's a good match. It's a good district. It's a tough regional. It's going to be a tough regional over at Macomb, Dakota with some of those teams. And then, of course, you have District 31, which is going to be at Grand Blanc. I think the winner of District 31 has a good shot. It's either going to be Waterford Kettering, Waterford Mott, or Lake Orion. I mean, I just think those three teams have a great shot at it. I think Fenton will win District 32. Port Huron Northern should win District 28. District 30, I just think that early favorite. I got to give my early slight edge to Utica. But you got Adams and Stony Creek and Rochester in there. And Eisenhower, they're no stranger either. So we'll keep an eye on it. I just think it's going to be a good regional for that one over at Grand Blanc for Region 7. So, like I said, we'll keep an eye on it. Any updates, we'll let you all know what's going on and all that stuff. So, you can also follow the district page. Of course, it's also on the Inside the OA blog. You can take a look at my thoughts of each district and what teams are in it. You just go on Google, say Inside the OA, and it should say at Sammy Termina at blogspot.com. It promotes my thoughts and what is going on throughout the entire OAA. Okay, now when we come back, we're going to talk about football. Of course, 4 big names going D1 here on OAA Now. Welcome back to OAA Now. I'm Sammy Taramina. We're going to go and talk about the gridiron a little bit here. We've had some huge decisions coming down from, especially in Southern Oakland County. Now we are up to 6 players that have committed to D1 schools. Just recently we talked a couple weeks ago about Tristan Jackson of West Bloomfield going to Michigan State to play for Coach Mark D'Antonio. Interesting news, 2 of his teammates actually committed to play other schools, other top schools, of course. Nevon Mosley, a very good player. Tristan Jackson's a right-hand man. He's a cornerback / wide receiver. He's going to commit. He committed to Purdue a couple days ago, of course. Likely setting up a reuniting with Eddie Wilson, the top defensive lineman from a 7-2 West Bloomfield team last year. When you look at Nevon Mosley, he's known for he can catch the ball in key situations. A very good slot receiver. And then defensively, he's one of the best corners, I think, in the state of Michigan. Purdue is going to be lucky to get him. Lucky to have him. And for their coach, Daryl Hazel. I think that's the name at Purdue. I think it's a good move to bring in a guy like Nevon Mosley. I just think that it's an interesting experience for a guy like him to go over there to compete for Big Ten school. Of course, I don't know where Purdue is heading. You know what I mean? Heading into the year, I really don't know where Purdue is heading. You know what I mean? Because you got to deal with, and you're in a Big Ten West where Big Ten West is manageable. You still got to deal with Wisconsin and Nebraska still in there. Minnesota's gotten better. Northwestern's going to always be up there. And Illinois, they're in the same boat as Purdue. It's not as vicious as the Big Ten East is. You got Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State, and you got Maryland and Rutgers in there, which it's a tougher league, I think. The Big Ten East is more of a tougher league. And Nevon Mosley's teammate, Evan Foster, this year, he committed D1. He committed to Bowling Green State University. I think it's a good move for him. When you look at Bowling Green State University, a MAC team, they're one of the top teams in there. You got to give I think that it's a good move for Evan Foster. Of course, he's a very good cornerback. Of course, he did very well last year, and out of that whole West Bloomfield team last year, of course, let's not forget, this was a team that played a brutal schedule last year. So they ended up winning. They competed with Clarkson in the wire, and then they won 3 big games I thought that were huge. They won at Lake Orion in shocking fashion. They won at Oxford, and then they won at Stony Creek. And those are three games where those are not easy games to win. And and West Bloomfield did that. Even though they had that disappointing district final loss to Walled Lake Central. But I just think I think West Bloomfield, when you look at them heading into the 2015 season, they're loaded. It would not surprise me if some of the media has West Bloomfield as one of the top favorites in the Red, even though you got the big schools, Clarkson and Orion, in there. You can't count out Oxford either. So, you look, and you can't count out Stony Creek either. But you gotta look at what West Bloomfield has talent wise. This could be probably. If you think last year, I thought personally last year was one of West Bloomfield's best teams they've ever had. I just think at the end of the day, that maybe when you look at D1 talent, this could be one of the best groups, despite the fact they're going to have problems, I think, up front. I just think West Bloom's going to have a lot of problems up front, heading into the season, But, having that week 1 matchup with Dearborn early on, I think it's going to help them, get them ready for, especially with the they have a nice home schedule. Let's not forget that. They have Clarkston, Orion, Oxford, Stony Creek, and the crossover all coming to West Bloomfield. That is like a nice reward for the Lakers. And I just think that to play those games in front of the swamp, that's what the students section, that's what the students call the West Bloomfield fan section is the swamp. And that's not going to be an easy matchup having to deal with that type of matchup. So we'll see what happens there at West Bloomfield. But they have, of course, Tristan Jackson going to Michigan State next year. They got now Navon Mosley going to Purdue. And also now Evan Foster going to Bowling Green State University. So it's going to be an interesting decision there. Let's go to the blue, of course, out of Beverly Hills. At Beverly Hills Louis Grove's top running back there, Cedric Boswell. He committed this week to go to Iowa. Iowa's an interesting fit for Boswell, of course. He's an energetic, he's a speedster, a good running back. But Iowa has been known for recruiting linemen. You know what I mean? They developed their big linemen, not to the extent of Wisconsin, but Iowa has brought in some good linemen, and they went to the NFL. So I'm very curious to see how this will go with Boswell going to Iowa. Iowa, like I said, is a Big Ten school going. They're in the Big Ten West with Nebraska, Wisconsin. Got Northwestern, Illinois, and Purdue in there. You look at Boswell, of course, what he did last year. Of course, a lot of people didn't know much about Boswell. You know what I mean? Until he had a really big year last year for Groves and their blue championship team. But when you look at Groves, this is a team I think could do some damage. Even though they have some problems at quarterback, you know what I mean? Zach Van Fossen graduated. Groves still has some weapons to go to. But I just think when you look at Boswell, and he's got another one, you know what I mean, who could do well this year too. So Groves really's got two running backs that can do some damage. But the question is, if you're playing against a team, you get your running game shut down, you're forced to throw. Do you trust your quarterback, even in a chance to throw, in a situation where you're going to be in a tough situation? What happens? The question I'm going to say for Groves is, what happens to you if you have your running game shut down and you're forced to go in the air? And that's the question I ask for Groves is, but to Boswell, he had a really good year last year, and I think it's going to be another big year for him coming into a place like Iowa, But you got to deal with your season at Groves, senior year, of course. It's a big opportunity for Groves coming into the year, looking into that. But anyway, for Boswell, it's good for him to go to Iowa. He'll probably run along a big offensive line there. I just think it's a good choice for him to go to Iowa City next year. And the last college recruit we'll talk about is Kahid Kareem, of course. He had a huge press conference where he had an ESPN podcast where he was going to go. Kahid Kareem was one of the top recruits in the state of Michigan. Committed last week to go to Alabama. It's very interesting, of course. How they had the press conference and all that. I was disappointed for Kareem when he decided to decommit, because he initially committed to Michigan State, but he decommitted because he said his choice was too early. When I look at it here on his case, I just think that if you're gonna commit to one school, you gotta stay with that commitment. And if you're locked in, you're locked in. That's what I think personally with this. Kareem had a choice of 36 schools. Michigan State was mentioned in there. but he decided to go to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. When you look at Kareem, of course, transferred in from West Bloomfield. Here's a guy that really, and now he's going to go to he's going to go play for Coach Nick Saban, who has led Alabama to 2 national championships and 1 national title at Louisiana State. So I just think it's an interesting, and Alabama gets a lot of 5-star recruits to go over there. Kareem was a 4-star recruit. You look at the history of Alabama football. Of course, there's always been, it's either national championship or bust in the Southeastern Conference for Alabama. They want to beat Auburn every year, you know what I mean? And especially in November. But when you look at the college football playoff, there's times I thought Alabama looked overrated. And for me, I think the decision for Kareem, I just think when you look at Alabama, when Alabama loses, there are going to be people storming the field on you. And I just think it's an interesting decision for Kareem to come north for him to go south next year. You know what I mean? Especially to make a decision there. When he goes over there, I question the decision to go to Alabama. I really do, be honest with you. But he made the choice. He's going to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and now he's going to have to prove it. You know what I mean? Is he ready to play college football early? Do I think he is right now? No. I just don't think so. I just don't think Kareem is not ready to play college football right now. I know he's got his senior year at Harrison. He's going to graduate in December, go enroll early over in Tuscaloosa. I just think it's dangerous what he's doing. But I just don't think right now Kareem is ready to play right now ready to play in Tuscaloosa right now. There's going to be a lot of people ahead of him right now. There's going to be a lot of people ahead of him in that defense. There's going to be a lot of people ahead of him. And he's going to have to earn it over there at Tuscaloosa because Nick Saban does not give players, you know what I mean? You got to earn it to play for Nick Saban. Of course, Nick Saban, he was a former coach at Michigan State. Of course, Mark D'Antonio was one of his assistants over there. But I just don't think Kareem is ready to play at Alabama. Whereas I look at a player like Tristan Jackson, you know what I mean? I think he's ready to play at Michigan State. I think Tristan Jackson's the guy that's ready to play at Michigan State. I think Navon Mosley, I think he's ready to play at Purdue. You know what I mean? But I just don't think Kareem is ready to play at Alabama. And with Cedric Boswell, you know what I mean? Whoever's played running back at Iowa's had a really good season. And Iowa's a good choice, I think, for running backs to go because of that line. And the emerging stars that they've had over there. Like Sean Green, you know what I mean? He played at Iowa. He had a heck of a season there in Iowa City. So I just think 3 decisions have been made. I think were good decisions to go to colleges. I just think the Kareem decision to go to Tuscaloosa is meh. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I think now, for Kareem's sake, I think now he's going to focus on a senior year at Harrison. Of course, they're one of the favorites in the white. You still got to deal with Southfield, Adams, Oak Park in there. I expect Harrison to be one of the top teams to compete for the state title because of Kareem. And their defense, they got a lot of good pieces on that defense, and this is a team, let's not forget, that lost to Muskegon, Mona Shores in a controversial call last year. They open up the year with these Kentwoods, so that's going to be a very, very interesting game, you know what I mean, to play East Kentwood. And then, of course, you have games with Southfield, Adams, and Oak Park. Those games are not going to be easy games either. Of course, Harrison Oak Park's had a rivalry. Harrison Southfield rivalry. Harrison Adams a rivalry there. I think Harrison's got to go to Adams, and then they got to go to Oak Park, and then they do host Southfield. So that's a plus for Harrison. Looking at that situation, so we'll keep an eye on the situation as it goes. I think in the now you have at least six OAA players going to be going D1 bound, so it's very interesting there. Congrats to everybody who committed to D1 colleges. 3 from West Bloomfield, 1 from Harrison, 1 from Groves. So we'll keep an eye on the situation as it goes. So when we come back, we're going to talk about some summer league ball. Of course, my thoughts on it, and of course, the coaching situation at Southfield still not filled here on OAA Now. Welcome back to OAA Now. I'm Sammy Taramina. Of course, a lot of summer league ball going on as we speak. We've had a couple teams around the area. They look all right. Some of them do not look good. Some look solid. Especially in boys basketball. We talked girls earlier in the pod last week. Here are the boys' turn, of course. Summer camps were at Oakland. One was at Michigan State. One team went to Michigan State. But I thought when you look at teams in the summer league, I just think there's one school that still has questions for me, and that's at Southfield. And of course, Southfield, they're a team that is very interesting. They're going to be a very good basketball team this year. But they still don't have a coach yet. And that's something that is a question mark right there in its own right. But you look at Southfield. This is a team that finished 12-1 in the summer league. Of course, their only loss was to Detroit Allen Academy, who was a very good team. You look at the Blue Jays. I like Amari Hardy a lot. He's a very good player. But I just think right now I don't know if there's a lot interested in the job, considering that next year, Southfield and Southfield Latham are going to merge, and you're virtually saying, okay, I'm going to be a guy, I'm going to be a coach for 1 year. I can't put my system in 1 year. I think it hurts. I cannot put my system in 1 year, knowing that next year I might not be the coach of this team next year. So you're virtually saying is you're getting a 1 year commitment basically to coach this team, and you're going to have to interview again for the another coaching job. So I think over at Southfield it's very interesting, especially why they still don't have a coach is because, of that situation. I just don't think it's a situation in which it's not. You virtually are going to be there just 1 year, and that's it. Then you're going to have to play again, probably have to deal with Mike Avery, who's coaching at Southfield Lathrop. And, it's not fair to say, I've been here for 1 year, I should get a chance to coach the main team at Southfield. And instead, if you it wouldn't surprise me if Mike Avery becomes the coach at Southfield. It really would not surprise me if he were to leave Lathrop to coach Southfield. So I just think, it's not a good situation. Southfield's a good job. It's a very good job. But the problem is, why I think coaches are going away right now is they're earing that situation because of the fact that you're only going to have 1 year as a Southfield High School before you merge with Lathrop. You got to have that commitment to basically say, okay, give me another year to bring in my system, and we'll compete for championships. It doesn't work that way. And I think a lot of coaches are skeptical of how the situation is going to work, especially over there at Southfield. And it's a tough situation on the kids. It's tough on the assistant coaches. Heading into the basketball season, I really think Southfield needs to have I like the fact that their assistant coach is coaching that team. They coach him in the summer league. I think he should be the head coach, and then, of course, it's going to be a tough situation once Lathrop merges. Once they and Lathrop merge. So it's a tough situation when you look at what's going on over at Southfield, because they don't have a coach right now. They don't have, and they finished 12-1. They're a solid basketball team. They're going to be a solid team. I just think there's two teams that are better than them right now. Unfortunately, I think there's two teams that are better than them right now. It's Clarkston and North Farmington. Clarkston, they were a team that went to Michigan State. They were solid. They looked really good. He got Dylan Allman, he transferred in from Davison. Going to play shooting guard, likely with Foster Lawyer being the point guard. They got the question for Clarkston going to be size. Timmy Throgmorton, I think, is going to be a 3, maybe a 4. But Clarkston don't have a lot of size. And that could be a problem heading into the year for the Wolves. But neither does North Farmington. You know what I mean? They have Billy Thomas, but they don't have a lot of size coming back. So that could be I think it'll be very interesting. Southfield's got size. I think Southfield will compete. They're the dark horse in this in the blue. In the red. They're a dark horse team. I thought Southfield looked really good. They're athletic. They're very talented. They're well coached. Even though they don't have a coach in there yet to be the official head coach, but they look solid. But Clarkson looks solid as well. I haven't seen much North Farmington. Another team I thought looked solid was Rochester Adams. You got Joey Zenny and you got Spencer Littleson. They looked really good. Of course, Littleson was offered by Oakland this week. If I'm Spencer Littleson and Oakland, I would go to Oakland right now. I would commit to Oakland. You know what I mean? Oakland's a good place to play in the blacktop, to play for one of the best coaches in the entire country in Greg Campy. I just think that, but I don't know what's going on in the mind of Spencer Littleson. But I just think that he's a very solid prospect, a very good player. And I think Littleson would look good wearing black and gold. I really do. And then you look at Seaholm and Grove. You look at Seaholm. I thought when I watched Seaholm, I thought they were looking all right. Looked okay. They had they're going to have trouble scoring a little bit this year, though. Unfortunately, they're going to have trouble scoring. So I think Seaholm's going to have trouble scoring. Grove's the team I think is going to be good in the gold. I really think Grove's is going to be a very good team in the gold. They got to deal with Hazel Park. Hazel Park's a solid team. They're a good team. But I just think at the end of the day, I just think that Hazel Park's a team to keep an eye on, no doubt. But Groves looked solid. Groves looked all right. They looked okay. You know what I mean? They're going to be ready to compete. They're going to battle for it with the crown with Hazel Park. Royal Oak's another team you got to keep an eye on. I thought Royal Oak looked really good, really athletic. They're very talented. For new coach Aaron Smith, who I think is going to do a very good job over there at Royal Oak. Very athletic. So we'll see what happens there at Royal Oak. So, and then I thought Rochester looked all right. Hunter Slasher, he grew a little bit. He's got a 3-point shot going. He got Ivan Brazera. They got that player that moved up from freshman to varsity to play the summer league for Coach John Pleasant. I think, with him, I just think, it's very interesting when you look at what he has. I just don't think they have a true four to surround him with. So I just think, Rochester could be, I would say right now, Rochester, I would say probably third best team right now in that league in the blue behind Stony Creek and Lake Orion. And Stony Creek was a team, this was a team that beat a very good New Haven team. Stony Creek. And then they played a good Frankenmuth team. They ended up losing that pretty bad. Watched Steve Norgrove's team play, but they got some good shooters. Got Ben Ryder's a very good shooter, and they got John Pasancola. Two very outstanding shooters. Question for them is they don't have a lot of size, and that could be a problem for Steve Norgrove this season. It could be a huge problem for Steve Norgrove. And I just think that they're going to be fine. You know what I mean? Oxford is a team I looked at, they're going to have some struggles. I didn't think when I've heard some people talk to some people about Oxford, they didn't look great at the camp. They didn't look but Stepan Henning can coach this team. He can coach. He can definitely coach. He's one of the best coaches I think in the entire county, and he's gonna get the best out of those players. I know the Noah Harris situation didn't work out for Stepan Henning and the Wildcats, but at the end of the day, I just think that Oxford's gonna be all right. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a struggle for him though. You know what I mean? But we'll see what happens with Oxford with them. Troy looked all right. I mean, they're a very scrappy team. Gary Fralick coaches his kids very well there. And then you got and then Troy Athens, of course, they played a very tough schedule. They played Cornerstone. Cornerstone's a very good team, and they just beat Athens pretty good. Cornerstone, of course, also played Pontiac in the summer league as well, and they had a good battle with Pontiac. Pontiac looked very good. I mean, they have Jalen Kelso, Ronald McDonald, and Israel Williams. I like Israel Williams a lot. He's a very good power forward, underrated player to say the least. But it's gonna be very interesting what Pontiac has coming up this year with this team. I mean, they're in a really tough league. They don't have a lot of depth around those three players, which could be a problem for Ben Kelso unless they play stall ball like they tried to do last year against Troy Athens. Unfortunately, it didn't work out well for them, and they ended up losing that game. But Troy Athens is a team I think is going to struggle badly in the red because you don't have all that experience back. You're going to be a very young team. It's going to be a long year for Coach Dave Scott over at Athens. So it's going to be a long year for them over there as well. And then, of course, you got to look at Lake Orion. Of course, this team I think is going to be solid. Jim Manzel's got this team heading in the right direction. There's some questions when you look at consistency with this Dragon team. There's going to be a lot of questions when it comes to consistency. A lot of people ask about consistency with this team, and Lake Orion's been a team that struggled last year mightily. They were 4-16, but let's not forget this was a team that won 3 of their last 4 games last year. They went into Oak Park and knocked them off. I think for Lake Orion, I just think they're in a good situation right now. But the question is for Lake Orion is going to be, can they have this consistent basis every night? You know what I mean? There's lapses where they're lazy, but there's lapses where they look good. It's the same situation with Stony Creek. You know what I mean? There's times that Stony Creek shoots the ball well. They're a very dangerous ball club. And if they don't shoot the ball well, then they're going to have problems. You know what I mean? That's what I look at with Stony Creek. You know what I mean? It's going to probably be the same thing with Clarkson, especially when you're going to have to deal with Lawyer and you're going to have to deal with Allman. If they don't play well, Clarkson struggles. And, it's going to be that same situation. What's going to happen for the Wolves is basically it's basically going to be for Clarkson is Allerman and Lawyer are going to have to carry Clarkston this season. You know what I mean? And they're going to be good. They're going to be very good, But the question is, can they get by their district, which they should? You know what I mean? Lake Orion, I think, is going to be their toughest challenger. And then you got to deal with possibly seeing Macomb, Dakota on their home court, which could be a huge problem in that right. So, But Clarkson, let's not forget, last year went into Macomb, Dakota, and beat Dakota. But then again, Dakota didn't have all those transfers from Mount Clemens play yet. So, and of course, that is an interesting dynamic. Pontiac's another team to keep an eye on because they look solid. West Bloomfield, I watched them play. They're good. They're very good. I mean, Jeremy Dennis done a nice job with his team. You know what I mean? I like what he's done over with his team, with this Laker team there. I like what he's done. You know, even though Tristan Jackson's not playing in the summer league right now, I still think he's going to play. He's going to play this year for the Lakers. You know, probably get him in shape, ready for football season in East Lansing. To convert him to wide receiver. I just think at the end of the day, I just think that Jeremy Dennis going to have a very good team out there, you know, but you still got to deal with Orchard Lake St. Mary's is going to be solid. You got North Farmington is going to be very good. They're going to be a tough challenge for in that district, but at the end of the day, I just think that I like West Bloomfield a lot. I think West Bloomfield's a solid team. They're going to keep an eye on heading into the year as well. So Royal Oak looks good. West Bloomfield looks good. A lot of these teams I mentioned, they look very good as well. So we'll keep an eye on the teams as we go here in the Summer League. Of course, we're heading from June into July. Of course, in July mostly. Of course, and then you got football season in August coming up, and you got volleyball season in August as well. So along with boys soccer. So we'll keep an eye on the situation as it goes. In each sport, of course. Let's like to wish everybody a happy 4th of July. Of course, it's a pretty big you know, we're all in this dead period together. So you know, once they get back into action, probably starting this weekend. You know what I mean? So it'll be very interesting to look at from that situation. So wish everybody a happy 4th of July. Stay safe. Everybody rest up. Enjoy the 4th, of course. God bless America, everybody, and you know, so we'll keep an eye on it, and you know, we'll see what happens on the see what happens coming up, of course, when everything starts back up again after that period ends. So like I said, everybody, good night, and God bless all around the OAA.
OAA Now is produced at Orion Neighborhood Television, Lake Orion's community media outlet. To learn more about ONTV, visit our website at www.orionontv.org or call us at 248-393-1060.